Okay, hey, welcome. Welcome to the next episode of Witches of Three.
Witches of Three, speak free.
Speak free.
I don't sing.
Not this time.
Michelle and I do.
Every time. So tonight we're going to talk about the
One
veil.
of my favorite topics.
The veil is thin. The veil is will
What
disappear.
is the veil?
I think that the veil, it has to do, it's kind of like a protective thing. If you can imagine like what the world would be like if it were always October. For some of us it is.
I wish.
For some of us it is. But it is a time when astrologically and physically the earth is just, the air is different.
Yeah.
And so we can see things better. We feel more connected to the other side.
This is why we have Samhain at this time.
Yes.
Because this is, they knew that this was the time when the sun starts traveling away and we start going to the dark. All that stuff comes up.
And specifically here in the Northern Hemisphere, this time of year is particularly magical. We only have seasons because the earth is tilted, so it's very special that we get to actually experience this. So this planet is kind of special in that way. But during this time of year, because everything does shift away from the light, we get these dark periods. And so we get to explore these darker areas of the psyche, of energy, of what that means, and that interplay between the two realms, because there's the realm of here and now, and then there's the other sacred realm where it's there, we just can't see it. It's there, we just can't see it. But this is where that veil is particularly thin.
The dark.
The dark.
I have a hard time with that
Yeah.
that
let's talk
analogy
about
of
that.
the time, of the dark and the light. Because for me, like, this is the light time. Like, for me, this is my summer. This is when, like, I feel the most energy and I'm, like, the most interactive with the other side, even though, like, I can't escape it. It's just with me all the time. But this is when I feel that high energy time. And so for me, this is the light time. Like, this is when I can see everything.
Ooh, yeah.
So I
That's
can
true. The
physically
words-
see it.
The words that we have given to describe these times are, they need to shift.
Yeah.
They need to shift.
Well, so in the key part, like, they do make sense. The dark, because the sun is leaving,
Right.
but
Yes,
we
the
have
sun is leaving.
We have put kind of connotations and all sorts
Yes.
of stuff on
Right.
the term
So
dark.
when we say dark, that's really not what we mean. What we mean is the dark period of where we are astrologically and planetarily. We're not talking about evil. We're not talking about darkness.
Yeah.
We're just talking about this shift that takes place
Yes.
specifically where we're at in the universe, that we study, that we work with, and that our ancestors also studied and worked with. So we're not talking about evil. We're just talking about the other side, which some people have described as evil, but it's not.
Like,
It's
I
not.
mean, if you think about, like, everybody on the planet right now, like, I mean, the good and evil is a hard thing to even think about.
Oh gosh, what does that
evil?
even mean?
But, like,
Right.
you know, I mean, if we're talking about working with the other side, like, most people that have passed over weren't innately evil. So why would that contact be innately evil?
Right.
We totally understand being a little bit hesitant or
Right.
afraid of, like, what you don't know and don't
Especially
understand.
if you don't know, you have no experience with these things. Especially for people who have, like, no spiritual practice. Or didn't grow up spiritually, it's even harder for them to digest, whether you grew up Christian or on this
Right.
side of the coin.
Right.
Those things have always had sort of the mystic, the unknown, which we have a fear of, the unknown,
Exactly.
generally. But in this time of year, the unknown becomes known.
Yes. Yes.
It gives us the information that we need.
Yes.
And we work a lot with the other side. I would say all of us are pretty much hedge witches, amongst other things. So we all work with the other side. And ancestral practice is my practice for the most part. And this is the time of year where that is culturally, among all cultures, this is a time to connect with the ancestors. But this is also a time when the veil is thin and you can contact your spirit guides and have more interactions with those.
Yes.
Your animal guides, your aliens, whatever. All of those things are available to you.
More accessible, yeah.
More
accessible.
now, more accessible.
More accessible.
More accessible to you than any other time of the year, especially those things that do generate from this planet, from this world.
And this time, right now, like where we are right now, what we're going through collectively, they're here in full force, like boots on the ground, like the soldiers are marching here.
That's why you've been seeing your granny.
And
that's why you've been seeing your granny.
That's why you guys are all messaging us about weird dreams and visits.
Yeah. Yes, they're all here. They're all here. Those forces, as well as the other forces that have been sent here to help Earth get through this period right now. Because it's not just like the veil right now for us in our pagan calendar is thinning, but there's also a greater veil that's out there that's thinning right now too. So there are other forces that are coming in to help us get through that, because not very many of us have been through that before. We've been through this other shit before, but we ain't been through that. So there's people that are here helping us with that.
This is a lot bigger than the coronavirus, guys.
This is huge.
This is a big collective shift.
And
I would say that the veil is like disappearing.
I don't even know what it's gonna look like the closer we get to Halloween. Like I don't even know. It's so active.
Yeah, it's so active.
So just jump on your board and
a lot of you are feeling like depleted energy and you're not really sure why. And this is where we go back to talking into checking with yourself. Like, is someone trying to get in touch with you?
Yes.
You know, like,
don't be afraid of that. I can't say that enough. I have so many people that are afraid to let those voices come through because of the conditioning that they've suffered. We're in Oklahoma, for those of you that are like, you know, other places.
Yeah, we're in Oklahoma.
We're in Oklahoma. Bible Belt.
We all have religious trauma.
Everyone here has religious trauma. Everyone here. And so it's hard for people to let down their guard and allow those voices to come through that are trying to help them through this. So that's part of the veil too, and that's what we're here to talk about tonight, and how to recognize that, how to work with that, and what that means.
How to do it safely.
Yeah.
Yes.
I do want to have a conversation because this has come up several times in the store over the last couple of weeks. This is the time of year where people start talking to me about Ouija boards.
I'm so glad you brought this up. I wanted to talk about this.
Yes. Thank you. So, yes, I have used a Ouija board.
Yes.
No, I do not use them anymore.
Yes.
I do not condone it or
endorse.
We don't sell it
or
endorse it. More often than not, I am called to do cleanup from it. Now, that being said, there are a select few people who will do all of the research needed and do all of the things that they need to do, know how to open and close and all those sort of things that may be equipped to utilize that tool.
Mm-hmm.
That are equipped to utilize that tool.
Yeah.
But it is not something that should be purchased at Target. With your kombucha and a tank top. Like, this is not a Saturday night party.
Well, just think about the last thing. Like, not like plugging our store again, but you have to look at where you're buying things and where those energy and intentions lies. I got this really great question the other day. This girl was using her pendulum, and she's like, how is this different from a spirit board? And I'm like, you're using a spiritual, divine tool of crystal organic earth made from, this is from Mother. This was something from Warner Brothers, or whatever their name, like they
Bradley or some shit. I don't know.
Like,
Hasbro.
And there's like a conspiracy theory about them as well. So that's a big difference. It is a tool, but it is mostly a low vibrational tool. You can buy certain boards from certain places that are elevated,
or make your own.
Yes, that is great.
But again, you should not be utilizing those tools unless you understand all of the methodology and
research.
All of the things that you need to do to protect yourself.
Yes.
There are many other ways to contact the other side that do not make you open a fucking portal.
Exactly.
Okay?
Exactly.
Yes. I mean, I can't tell you how many times sitting behind the desk at that place where people would come in and be like, so I have a weird question, and I was like, so you used a Ouija board, and now like
we got that so many times.
I mean, it was so, and especially this time of year, like it's just common. They're gonna be on an end cap, like I said, at Target, so skip that aisle, and utilize a different sort of method. You know, you can contact your ancestors so many different ways. For me, I have a constant ancestral altar. I believe both of them do as well. Yep. And if I need to contact those people, I already have a direct link.
Yeah.
Yes.
You don't want to just walk in and contact whatever's there. That's really fucking dumb. Because
Yeah.
what's going to come through that
parameters.
low vibrational tool is not what you're asking for.
Nope.
But
don't mean to be scary, but low vibrational things attached to low vibrational tools.
Yeah. So, you know, we want you to understand that, like, that you don't need all that bullshit. Like, you're not going to get what you're looking for going through that sort of method.
Right.
So let's talk about some of the other ways that we can contact them.
Contact our guides.
Yeah.
So I think the first thing we need
So
to...
what are spirit guides?
Yeah. Okay. So spirit guides can be many different things. The main distinction is the spirit guide from the ancestors. So that's where, like, the main split occurs. Your ancestral guides are people that are literally on your ancestral path here. You've reincarnated many, many, many times, and a lot of the times it's in groups of people.
Mm-hmm.
So you've reincarnated here with your family a lot. So that's where we get the concept of ancestral DNA.
Yeah.
Right. There may have been 3 or 4 generations that skipped me, but I'm still fucking dealing with my fucking family's karma.
Yeah.
And with the people that are just around me, their karma too. So that's the first one. You have to distinguish between that and the ones that are actually coming to you from source. And there are so many different interpretations of this that you can kind of get lost in that.
I think they appear to you in how you need to see them. I think, you know, for some people it's like, you know, it's a shadow. For some people it's a light, it's a candle. For some people it's a dog. For some people it's a beautiful goddess woman. I think they come to you the way that you need to see them.
Yeah, but goes back on, like, learning your intuition, because how we've been conditioned, we're in this realm, they're in that realm, we can't talk to them, we can't see them, they're not here, you know, ostrich, you know, no see, no he, you know, they're not here. And it is as simple as asking for guidance and, you know, connecting with that candle and knowing, you do know, like Michelle said, we have reincarnated, incarnated with these, you know.
You've been here before.
You might not know them in this life,
right,
but you all are all...
Your soul knows them, though.
Your soul knows
That's
them.
why you can see them. That's why you can talk to them.
Yeah.
When you start getting into alignment with who you are and what you're doing, understanding your ancestry helps you understand your spirit guides.
Yeah.
Like, having all of that information and doing the fucking work. That's how you get there.
Yeah.
And, you know, and they'll let you know. They're going to come a knocking when you're doing that work. They're not going to let you not see them. They're not going to let you not see them. You know, for me, like, for a while, it was frogs forever. Like,
right.
I would dream about the frogs. And then finally, I'm doing this meditation. And it was one of Michelle's meditations, but I was doing it myself. And, man, I'm sitting on that ledge, and this frog just sits on my shoulder and goes, "Why are you ignoring me?" Like, you know, and it took me a while, and I was like, I don't even like frogs. Like, I'm not the frog lady. Like, why is the frog gonna be my spirit guide right now?
Right,
like, I don't understand this, but they give you what you need when you need it.
Yes.
You know, I think some people have spirit guides that are with them through their whole life. Some people have those that come and go.
Absolutely.
I think it just kind of depends on how you practice.
Absolutely.
But they're here.
Yes.
They're here.
And they come from a variety of places. Some of them do come from this earth, and that's how they manifest as spirits and creatures of this earth. And then there are those that are coming here from other worlds, other realms, other levels, because right now there's just something different about Earth. It's like very, very rare what we do here, what we are here. It's very, 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 very rare. And so there are other entities and other forces out there that are aware of how rare this particular place is. And so it makes it very difficult here. But there are other beings that are also here from those other places that are like, we're here to help you. We're here to help you. And sometimes they manifest as just things that, you know, ordinary, like a cat that wanders up on your doorstep.
And doesn't leave.
You know, those are those entities that are here to protect you. And so just being in tune with your surroundings really is opening up the door for that to be present, and listening to your dreams.
Yeah.
That's huge right now. I don't know anybody that's not having like wackadoodle dreams, going to different places, seeing different times of their life, like literally going back in time, going forward in time. Everybody that I know right now is like portal dreaming. You're going somewhere.
And traveling.
Lots of traveling. We're going
Yeah.
places. We're moving around. I mean, that's where you find your guides too, is out there when you're traveling around.
So there's different, we get asked all the time, like, how's your guide? How do you know them? You know, all that. So we've talked about, you have your ancestral ones that you may not have known in this life. You have your people that you've known that have passed on.
So those are your team. So here's where I
your
go.
team. Yeah,
so
yeah.
your team is really, for me, like the first part of your team, the ones that you feel like you have the closest access to, be your granny, your great uncle, whatever, the ones that you knew in life.
Yeah, the physical connection.
But truth be told, the ancestors that are really like out there doing the work for you are not people you ever knew.
Right.
When I do ancestral readings for people always want, like, can I talk
Who
to my
is that?
grandma?
Right,
And I'm like, no, because this
Great
woman,
aunt blah blah blah's here.
This
That don't
woman,
mean nothing out there.
this woman's cooking over a cauldron in a forest somewhere, and she's definitely not your great grandma. So, you know, the ones that were really, especially now, because you can see the whole line sometimes when I see people. They're not necessarily the ones that were here with you, but they've been with you forever. They're with the ones that have been with them. They're guiding them through the path right now. We talked about in an earlier episode about like being kind of ashamed of your ancestry. I think a lot of us right now are struggling with like, I don't want to work with my ancestors because
or have conflicting ancestors.
Right. Or like one of my ancestors was a Confederate soldier. One of them was a Union soldier. Like, I don't know how
being
to
native
design myself.
and being colonizer blood. Like,
it's a struggle. But what I want to tell you is that from the other side, those sort of things don't necessarily exist in the same way.
It's a completely different
They
construct.
don't, the good and evil, good and bad don't necessarily exist out there like that.
Nope.
It's all for you.
It's for
like
you.
That's
They're here to be a lesson to you or a guide to you. They're here to teach you. You're here to clear that karma.
Yeah.
And that's why you have feelings about it. That's why you get triggered by thinking about your ancestors sometimes.
Right.
Not to say that I want you to be contacting bad Uncle Jimmy who liked your short shorts. And I understand that too. I had a lady the other day. She was just like, I don't want to see my grandpa. And I'm just like,
right.
That's not what we're doing here.
No, and that's another thing, and a lot of the people that are ready to take that like move into experiencing those other realms, the astral realm or beyond. That's one of the things that I have to counsel a lot with people that come in here is you're in control. You're in control. When you set your intention for what you want to do with communicating with spirit, it's just like setting your intention when you're trying to clear your house. You're in control. That's one of the cool things about Earth. That's one of the cool things about this incarnation. Is that we're in control here. We're in control here. So even if you do contact things from other realms, they're really not in control here. It's you. And that's what makes this property so valuable. So don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to open up to those ancestral voices or angelic voices, which some people say angels and aliens are the same thing. I'm kind of maybe like that myself. These are just more advanced beings that have been here forever. Some people call them angels. Some people call them aliens.
Yeah, a lot of this stuff, there's vocabulary that we're like, there's,
the vocabulary.
Yeah, the vocabulary, but it's just other beings that have been watching over this planet for a long time. Being open to that doesn't mean you're going to get out there and get lost in the astral realm. I hear that all the time. I'm going to get lost in the astral realm. You can't get lost in the astral realm.
You can choose to stay there.
You can choose to stay there. It usually involves a lot of drugs.
Yeah.
It usually involves a lot of drugs.
I think we need to have an episode about
drugs?
all of the drugs that are being that are being
touted,
manufactured through YouTube gurus, taking these herbs to
we
ascend.
Absolutely need to talk about that
because that's a huge thing right now. So let's not get off track.
No.
Let's talk about the stuff.
Don't be afraid.
I mean, we tell you all the time you don't need all the stuff, but we do have some cool stuff.
We do have some stuff.
So you already have your team. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you can do a lot of work to figure it out, and those are things that you don't necessarily need tools for. Meditation, asking your dreams.
Yes.
I can't believe when I found out that
through.
you could just ask and like set intention before you go to sleep, that changed my life.
Yeah.
And I remember the lady who told me that, I was like, bitch, it's that easy. God bless it. Anyway, but
she's right. It works. It works.
It does. But we also have things that can help you. So a lot of the times, this is what witchcraft is. Ritual and doing things is the physical form, and that helps our body go through things. And we tend to understand things more when we do something physical. And that's why we sell stuff. So if you need
muscle memory.
Yeah. And DNA, it activates all that ancestral memory too. So we do have some products here that we like to use when activating that. So again, this time of year, a lot of people like to contact their ancestors. They like to really touch base with, like Shanna was saying, their first level of protection.
So like in Latin culture, the Day of the Dead.
Yes.
You know, we've actually participated in some activities of that, and you know, we're really big about cultural appropriation right now. So we're not going to show you a sugar skull, but that is a practice that is through all cultures to contact your ancestors at a specific time of year. Like I said, hemisphere matters and all of that. But there are many things that you do. One of the most basic things that is useful in contacting your ancestors is a candle. The candle I make Ancestral Gateway. This is my #1 selling candle. It has herbs and oils that are in it that help open the veil for you. So you can use this at any time, but this is basically like opening the veil like right now at any time. Moon Candles also makes a Spirit Unveiled candle, and this candle can be used for ancestral work or spirit guide work. So it is very much open for that.
We got a Claire candle that helps open up all the clairs, which we're going to do an episode about that. There's you've heard of clairvoyance a lot. We've talked about seeing, but there's all different types of clairs. Clairaudient, which is sound, hearing things. I forgot.
Clairsentient is knowing.
All that.
All the clairs.
And then, you know, like I said, Ancestral Altar. One of my favorite things for the Ancestral Altar is ancestor money. And so this is hell money and this is heaven money, depending upon what sort of favors you need from the ancestors, the different money. But these are fairly inexpensive, and you can write, you know, what kind of messages you want to receive, what you need help with. But this time of year, the ancestor money is also quite cool looking to put on your altar. That your oil, Kyla.
Oh yeah, this is the hedge. So we were talking about how we're all kind of hedge witches. So a lot of people think that just means green witch, but the hedge is like an actual barrier. So if you hear the term riding the hedge or on the hedge, that is a witch that works in both realms.
Yes.
And so if you need a little bit of help, I love this stuff. It's technically a third eye opener, but it just kind of makes all of your senses more aware. And then we also have little kits too. We have little kits for all sorts of different stuff you want to do. And but again, like we always say, you know best how to connect with your team. You know, like you can
and it could also do with your element, like what element you resonate with. So for me, I'm a fire sign, so candle is almost always, I usually burn herbs or burn the money. But when I embraced the water element a few years ago, we will reference this a lot. Now I cry all the time. It's fucked up, but whatever. Shut up, Kyla.
It was a painful time.
It was a time.
It was a time.
But ever since then, I really pay attention to water. So Ancestral Altar should always have a glass of water, but like I know that I got confirmation in a question because I always leave a glass of water by my bed. If I wake up in the morning and that shit's full of bubbles and the temperature hasn't dropped or rose by 40 degrees, I know that that's the answer. That's my yes or no.
Movement there.
There's been some energetic movement around me. We all know that when spirit is around, the temperature fluctuates.
Yes.
So those are always really good ways to kind of get in. Water is a conduit.
Yes.
So use what you have. Again, we'll always tell you that. Yes, we all make beautiful products to assist you on your journey.
And they are great.
But use what you have. Like,
if you don't have time to make it yourself, I'm telling you, our shit is good.
Yeah, it's
true.
It is.
It is. Like Shannon says, lazy pagan. If you don't have time, if you're working,
buy a candle from
and
Moon
doing all that
Candles,
stuff,
or
like
from Karaoke or SK.
I'm an earth sign, so I have to do ritual. Like, ritual is very important to me. I physically heal. I like it all goes through me. Every emotion I do. One of my favorites was when we did a ancestral meditation at my house, and I made mugwort coconut oil that everyone rubbed around their third eye, and I still see orbs from that fire pit, and I'm like, yes.
Yes.
But at that meditation that I had, everyone brought their own things.
Yes.
And it was very, again, we're always going to say that. That's the most powerful thing. If you can use your own thing with our thing, that is what we would,
Yes.
that's what we prefer.
Yes. That's a good way to sum it up, really. Yeah. Take our thing, make it your thing.
You just have to kind of just get over fear, first of all.
Yes.
I think that's
It's okay to talk to those
that's
things.
a chakra thing, you know.
Yeah.
Like your root, if you're having fear about the veil being thin, your root chakra is more than likely out of balance.
Which
But
is probably from church trauma, but that's another episode.
But also,
go ahead.
but you know, like Michelle, I remember one of the first things she told me in Empowering Goddesses was like, know your roots. And like Shanna said, fear is the demon of the root chakra.
Yes.
And so if you can get grounded and also learn about your roots and your connection, you won't be as afraid. Like these,
vulnerable.
yeah. Again, these things are around to help. The veil is a. So when do you? So the veil, you know, like through October, November is also known as a really.
Yeah. Now Samhain.
And then
Samhain,
December's known as Angels Month.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So we're moving from Mabon into Samhain, and so we're getting the periods are getting shorter and shorter until we go into late October, and that traditionally in Celtic, prehistory. And we don't know anything about what they really did. We just have the writings that were actually passed down to us by the Romans, because the Romans went up there and wrote about the Celts.
The first colonizers.
They were.
my God.
Our playbook, the whole entire playbook from the
don't
Romans.
get Sean started on
Dude,
Romans.
John Lennon,
Don't.
fucking New York is the new Rome. Okay, no, what was it? Never mind.
Tangent happening.
Never mind, tangent happening.
In.
Yes.
The
So,
veil is thin. We're getting influence from everywhere.
Anyway, my ancestors, I'm Celtic, like through and through. My ancestors would celebrate this period of the solar year, known as Samhain, as that point in time where the veil is thinnest. And then that is then followed by the next day when we start moving towards those beings that start blessing the earth, where we end up with at Yule.
Yes.
You've got all of those angelic forces because you've shifted over. You have all of those angelic forces coming and blessing the earth during that time of year. So, there's a tradition within our planet, and not just with the Celts, but with other indigenous cultures, where this time of year was the sacred time of year. It was the sacred time of year, and we're moving it. This is their new year. So Julius Caesar changed the calendar. The real new year, again, another Roman. Don't get me on the Romans. Don't start me on the Romans. So
the Aries and the Romans.
So the Aries and the Romans. So anyway, the traditional New Year started like November 1st-ish, whatever.
Yeah, Halloween is the witches.
Yeah, that's the New Year's.
Yeah.
That's New Year's. It's the crossing over of the dead and the living.
Because it makes sense. Like, this is when the harvest is gone and
is
stuff
going.
is
The sun is
dying.
leaving.
And,
The sun is like, again, and because Earth is tilted, which most planets aren't. Most planets rotate this way, but we got hit by a comet and it flipped us this way. That's the only reason we have seasons like this. That's it. How fucking unusual is that? It's a class M planet that's axis is tilted at 18 degrees. We're the only one. No other planets have fucking seasons but us. That's why we're magical.
True.
And this little side
There's the
swipe.
answer.
There's the answer. It is the answer. God damn it.
The more you know.
It's
Anything
the
else
answer.
you want to say about the veil or ancestors?
Just use it. Use it before you lose it. We're all gonna need some guidance from the other motherfucking side.
Well, also, like Michelle was saying, this time is going to be probably way more
yeah.
open.
So Pluto's in
Capricorn.
right?
What just happened?
I am fucking expressing myself. Pluto's in,
Capricorn.
and then the sun is about to move into Scorpio too, and it's going to get like really hairy, and that's a whole other episode.
So like I'm saying, just you try to utilize this time to connect so that you can feel more equipped and also feel more divinely supported. They are coming here now to support us and to guide us through this particular shift.
We're fucking it up.
So
We're fucking it
Yeah.
up.
We are
so
not.
bad.
We are not.
We're not passing the grade.
I'm not sure what's going on here. I just want you guys to know that we're here. You can ask us again, Ask FM.
Ask
we'll
FM.
put that up.
Yes.
If you have questions.
And we already got some great questions. We're probably going to have to start doing like an episode where we just answer questions.
Yeah.
Nice.
But you'll have to sign up for our Patreon because they're all private and anonymous questions.
Yes. Come see us.
Yes.
Have a blessed
Have a safe
season.
trip on the
Yeah.
Veil and
Yeah.
call us if you have any questions.
Thank you for joining us.